Ladies and gentlemen, we have got the absolute pleasure of reviewing one of, I think, the coolest frames to come out of the inline skating world. So without ado guys, I'd love to introduce you to OneSkate. Now, if you haven't seen my interview with the creator of OneSkate, Levi, go and check that video out, and that will show you a little bit about what OneSkate is as a company. But they've finally sent me the frames, guys, and they've also sent me a t-shirt, which I'm going to be wearing in this review. Not obviously in the whole review, but just in this part of the video. So for all you guys that are worried, I am obviously going to be changing clothes, because guys, if you think I do my reviews in one day, think about it. This might be one skate, but this is not one day. So I've also got a note from the creator of OneSkate, and it says, "Hi AJ, was a blast skating with you at Mallorca. Hope you've had a lot of fun with the frames. It was created with passion by skaters for skaters, Levi Blade," and they've even drawn the little side swipe logo. So that's really, really nice. It's a lovely touch. And obviously guys, if you are interested in OneSkate, there's going to be a link in the description if you guys are interested in these frames. So here is the OneSkate frame. Now this frame is extremely light and looks really, really cool. Like it looks awesome. And obviously here you've got the different holes for the different setups that you're going to be able to use with this frame. This is more expensive than the likes of Endless and NN and Yo-Yo Skate, but you are getting a lot of frame for the money. I do believe it's cheaper than Icon. Icon seems to be a company that are quite expensive and are doing a similar thing, and this is still cheaper than Wizard though, which is really good. So if you're someone that wants to get into Wizard skating but can't afford the Wizard skates already, this has got 4 setups in one frame. But the question in today's video is, are they any good, and do they work, and are they fit for purpose? So we're going to find out, and we're going to be going on every single setup. Before I get into this review, I would highly recommend getting Icon bearings. Otherwise you're going to be extremely annoyed and frustrated lining up the washers onto the bolt so you can fit your bearings and wheels into the frame. It is the most annoying task, and one that I've had to do multiple times for this video. I'd highly recommend getting Icon bearings. It will relieve a lot of frustration. Also, you will need a carbon boot for this frame. A plastic boot will not work unless you have an adapter, which I cannot seem to find. I do believe a skater has custom made one, but there isn't one on the website, so you will need a carbon skating boot for the ultimate skate experience. Over the last year, I have been skating on the OneSkate frame to give you an accurate, non-biased, truthful insight on what this skate actually feels like. So this review is an in-detailed review on every single setup, the pros, the cons, everything that you could possibly imagine is going into this review. The only thing that isn't going into it is, of course, how to set it up, but that is on the OneSkate website down in the description below. So without ado, guys, let's begin with the 4x100 setup. Now, this is the first setup that I used on these frames, as I had a familiarity with this setup, having used them on the Endless frames, and this is definitely one of my favorite setups out of the 4 setups. The frame itself, when I first put it on, felt solid, strong, and the rocker felt amazing. Feeling every turn precisely and having full control over my skating, fully activating my slides and tricks with no drawbacks. It is a heavier frame than the Endless, however, and the extra weight feels like I have more control over my movement. Now, I know I did say in the Endless I did like the lightness, but I have to be honest, the heaviness of this skate really feels amazing, especially when you're using wizard and turns and movement. I feel like you can just be more accurate with what you're doing with your skating and have better control. And also because of the weight, I feel like you can go a lot faster too. I must say the first setup is a 10 out of 10 frame. The 4100 is the one. However, there is one drawback. After skating on these for just over a year now, I've noticed where the wheels have been worn, it gets very close to the side of the frames on the 4100s from the front end to the back end. Could be potentially an issue if you're doing slides, but luckily on the 4100 setup it's not that bad. This is definitely the safer setup when your wheels are worn. Basically what it indicates to me is I need to replace the wheels and get new wheels. But if you're someone who does a lot of slides, this is definitely something to think about when you're skating on the one skate frame, and that is how close the frame edge gets to the wheel. However, when you've got brand new wheels, it won't make the slightest bit of difference. The 3x110 setup. Probably my least favourite setup, mainly due to the lack of skills and tricks involved in this setup. Plus the fact that, like the Endless, the space between the wheels is very big. However, this setup is fast and very enjoyable if you like speed. And also it's a flat profile, which is very good for downhill skating, and if you've seen a lot of my videos, I really like skating downhill, and where I live I don't really have much of a choice, so this setup is very good for that. And it's also very responsive when activating slides due to the solidness and weight of the frames. I did enjoy this setup. It's great for commuting and getting to places quickly, so I'm going to give this setup a 7 out of 10, 5x80. Precise, flow, a beautiful rocker that allows you to carve with every turn, but as you can imagine, fairly slower than the rest of the setups. But that's okay, because with this setup you can fully utilise your wizard skating, and it does this really well. I also enjoyed skating the street with this setup, as the 5 wheels gave me a new experience that felt incredible. The only thing that I did find, which I have mentioned with the 4x100, which is quite concerning, is when you slide you have to be careful. The frames and the wheels are very close to the ground, so when you activate slides on concrete, and if your wheels get worn down too much, you may find, and I have certainly found this when skating the street, is your frame will hit the ground, which can actually lead you to falling over, and also it lead you to damaging your frame and possibly injuring yourself. So make sure that you're constantly rotating your wheels and maybe not do so many slides on this setup, and focus more on wizard skating and cool transitions, which this setup does extremely well. Other than that, this rocker on the 580s is elite. You can literally spin flat grounded. It feels incredible, and that is why I am giving this a solid 8 out of 10. I could say I'm leaving the best till last, but I have already told you my favourite setup. However, I will say this final setup is on par with the 4x100. I really enjoyed the rockering on the 5x80, but this setup completely changes the game. Introducing the final setup, the 3x80, 2x100, also known as the advanced frame. The movement, the control, the flexibility, the rockering, it has everything a good setup has to offer, especially if you like wizard skating. And I even took this setup in an indoor skate park, and it handled ramps surprisingly well, and I got the maximum enjoyment out of them, whether I was going from flat to bumps to the ramps. The whole experience felt incredible. When I was street skating, I noticed that it is also quite fast, and there is a lot of enjoyment to get out of this setup. Whether you're wizard skating, urban skating, doing parks, this setup is on another level, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, especially for enjoyment. Overall, this is a solid skate frame, and the fact that you can have 4 different setups in one frame is literally changing the inline skating game. So you can actually see what your preferences are, especially if you haven't tried other setups. I'd never tried the advanced frame or the 5x80 setup before, and I must say the 5x80 and the advanced frame were extremely fun, especially the advanced frame. That frame is just another level. Like, whether you're doing slides, whether you're doing slalom, free skating, whatever it is, it just felt so enjoyable. Now, obviously, the downsides are obviously the washers and the wheel positioning as well, which is an upside and a downside. And it's a downside because some of the wheels, especially on the 580s, are too close to the frame and to the ground, which can lead to injury. But also, where the rockering is so good, I don't know whether that would affect the rockering. So it's also a good thing as well. Overall, the one skate frame is definitely worth it. Now, obviously, the price, it's €350, and then of course if you're getting icon bearings on top of that as well, you're looking at close to £400, dollars and euros for the whole setup. However, you're getting a lot of skate setups for that price, and considering Wizard frames are around 350 plus, I will say that the one skate frame is very, very good, and it's very high quality and very durable. I have not skated a frame like it, and I must say it is a very good frame. Now, obviously, it is a very technical frame as well, and it is very complicated, and getting your head around the mechanics of this frame can be hard work, but once you do, it is extremely enjoyable, and that is why I do recommend getting icon bearings massively. It will help you out so much more than if you did what I did in this video and just used washers. The washers is a massive pain. So overall, guys, I'm giving this frame an 8 out of 10. It is a solid frame, but of course there could be slight improvements, and I do believe that this is one of the best brands doing multiple frame setups at the moment, and a lot of thought has gone into this frame, and it really shows. I just want to say once again a massive shout out to the creator Levi. You have created a frame that is just incredible, and it is definitely what the skating world has needed for a long time. But anyway, guys, I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, as it really does help out the algorithm. And I do spend a lot of time creating these videos, so please leave a like. And of course, if you are new around here and you like everything skating, hit that subscribe button, as that also does help out the channel, as I'm going to be doing a lot more skating videos in the future. So make sure to subscribe. And anyway, guys, it's been your boy Sideswipe. Keep rolling, and I will catch you in the next one.